Hey, welcome back to Just 5 Minutes. My goodness, has it really been 2 years since the last episode? Yeah, let's forget about that. Right, okay. No, if you noticed, no intro music because I've already used up, 16 seconds already? Anyway, here we go. Welcome back anyway. So, for this one, things are getting a little bit rusty out there, aren't they? And when I say rusty, of course I mean Rust, the programming language, which it's not actually the reason why I've picked a couple of these things to talk about today, but it just so happens they're actually built with Rust. And what I'm talking about, and the links are in the show notes below, of course, as ever, is first of all SurrealDB, SurrealDB.com, which is, well, I don't know, it's pretty amazing. From what I've seen, I've only just started having a look at it, to be honest, but essentially what it seems to be, and you think, how many more database engines can we get? Any flavor of SQL's out there, Postgres, MySQL, SQL Server from Microsoft, Oracle. It doesn't really matter. And then, of course, you've got all the plethora of things like MongoDB and everything else that goes with that. Funny enough, CouchDB popped up the other day that I remember from years ago. But maybe we'll do another talk about that some stage in the future, which hopefully won't be another 2 years. SurrealDB. It seems to be everything. And when I say everything, I mean a traditional sort of relational database. It certainly seems to be that. It's great for, like, if you want to call these Jamstack apps or serverless apps. It just seems to be a bit of everything. So I'll go into it. And it's essentially, you can model data any way you want. So you can have your traditional tables, which are used to rows and columns, just like I say in the relational world. But you can also then decide, I've got another, I was going to say table, but it isn't. I've got a table that's relational, but I want like more unstructured data. So I've got a document. So isn't that great? I can throw that in there. Now I know from, crikey, I don't know the details here, but certainly from Microsoft SQL 2016, when they had or even before that, where you can have more unstructured data store, and certainly with the JSON data type, XML data type's been there for a long time. But anyway, you've got document-based data in here, and if that isn't enough, you can then have graph type data. So one of my favorite graph databases that sadly I never really used in production anywhere, but it was great, was Neo4j. That was around, it's been around for a long time, and it's basically a graph type database. Well, SurrealDB has got that as well, so you can have your edges and nodes and lots of linkages and all that sort of stuff. And again, the great thing is as well, SurrealDB has got advanced document relationships as well, so you can have some really nice easy sort of joining without having to do these really weird complex joins. One thing, for instance, is here it says inter-document record links allow for simple to understand and highly performant related queries without the use of joins, eliminating the n+1 query problem that we all know about. Anyway, it's got a lot. It's got, and really you can connect to it. There's some great APIs straight from like browser based, so everything from sort of any of the JavaScript libraries out there, goodness knows what, including I must admit it's probably got Blazor and stuff like that as well, but it's got obviously lots of SDK APIs for things like Rust and a lot of other language support as well, including .NET as well. WebAssembly, you can get access to it that way, but it's also got things like real time as well, so you've got pub subtype interactions going on. So very very interesting. I've got the Docker container version of it right now that I'm playing with, but you can obviously install it. It's got a new sort of interface coming. I don't think it's ready at the time of this recording, but it's basically, again, that goes on to another subject another day, is that it uses a sort of cross-platform technology called Tauri, T-A-U, I think it's T-A-U-R-I, I think. Again, written in Rust, not surprising. That acts like essentially a console or the management studio or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to look at in another talk as well. But so far, SurrealDB, crikey. Yeah, it's there's going to be a cloud version of it as well if you don't want to manage anything yourself, but certainly being able to pull that through and get access to, like I say, even a Docker container. And I've realized I've gone way over the 5 minutes, but that is what we've got for this time around, folks.